cold as a razor blade.
Back for another episode of The Snake Pit, and of course, I'm joined by the man himself, WWE Hall of Famer, master of the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, man, trying to deal with the heat, man. It's 70 degrees outside.
It doesn't feel like that long ago you were saying there was ice and stuff out there. What is going on?
It's a freak show, man.
It really is. It's hot here in Pennsylvania, too. It was like 2 weeks ago or something. It was negative 19, and now here we are. Yesterday, it was like 60. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a freak show.
And nuclear weather we're experiencing here. Jake, you had mentioned it. We're here just as you and I are getting ready to record. You're getting ready to head off to Austin, and you're going to be making an appearance on the Undertaker's podcast.
Yeah.
Man, how did that whole thing come to be?
He ran into Dallas somewhere, and they got to talking, and Taker decided he wanted Dallas and I to come out and do individual shows and a show together.
Man, how incredibly cool. So you're going to be recording 2 episodes with him while you're out there.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Folks, keep your eyes peeled on the Undertaker's channel. I assume he's on. I know that he's got clips on YouTube. I think that you can get the full episode on like his Patreon or something like that. Either way, go out of your way to check it out. Keep your eyes peeled because here coming soon, Jake the Snake is going to be on that podcast. But today, we are talking about our podcast, The Snake Pit. We're talking about the finish of 1986. You know, Jake, as a reminder for our listeners, we previously discussed your arrival in the company in 86, being paired with Damien, 4-month run with Ricky Steamboat, and now we're going to go ahead and finish the story here. And Jake, this is a really fascinating time in your career because it's such a pivotal part of what is going to be the remainder of your run in the WWF. Coming off this rivalry with Steamboat, you're red hot as a heel, and your gimmick with Damien is super, super over. Are you communicating much with Vince McMahon about his vision for you in his company?
Man, we were so busy, we didn't have time to communicate.
We
were running so hard, 7 days a week, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. Then if you're doing TV, you work 4 times on TV. So figure it out, man. You didn't have time to pull your underwear up.
So, like, your relationship with the man who's running the show is essentially like probably seeing him in the hallway, some quick niceties, and on the way.
That's it.
Now, we do hear that a lot of guys would get to the building, and if they had some creative that they wanted to pitch or some grievance that they wanted to air, a lot of them would stand in line outside of his office at the building for the opportunity to have a quick chat with him. Was that ever a thing that you would do?
Yeah, I did it a couple of times whenever I had some grievance.
Okay, but never to pitch creative. You were just kind of letting them take the wheel?
No. The direction they put me was good, real good. And all I had to do was follow it. And I didn't see anything they were doing that was wrong. So I was going to keep my mouth shut and keep rolling.
Man, it is really good stuff. And, I think that you're coming in there and you're really kind of proving your stripes right out of the gate with this rivalry with Steamboat. I will say, though, notoriously, Vince kind of looks to the people who are in his inner circle for insight. Did you feel like behind the scenes there was any agent or producer in particular who might be advocating for you?
No.
It was just your work.
In fact, I had some problems with a guy named Jay Strongbow.
Chief Jay Strongbow?
Yes.
You had problems with him?
Yes.
What went wrong with him?
Well, I didn't know it, but he had came to Atlanta or tried to come to Atlanta, and he called to try to come to work for people in Atlanta, and he was given to the booker. Well, the booker was Robert, I just forgot his last name.
Was it Fuller?
Yes, Robert Fuller.
Okay.
He thought Robert Fuller was Jake Roberts. Robert Fuller told him, look, we don't need some fat, overweight fucking Italian playing an Indian.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So when I got there, he used to do some devilish shit to me, man.
So think about this, folks. This is before the days of cell phones, internet, anything like that. So like he had one experience with a guy that he thought was Jake Roberts, and now he fucking hates Jake the Snake Roberts before you've even actually met him in person.
Right. So
Jake,
he would put me in the worst position to get over. And he would make me do 20 minutes to do it.
oh,
So I'm having to go out and do 20 minutes with SD Jones, who will not let the snake get put on him. You know, I'm putting spots like that. I'm being put in the popcorn match.
in a what match?
Popcorn match.
Oh, okay.
You know, the match after intermission?
Yes.
That's the popcorn match.
Is it hard to get over in that match?
Yes, it is, because people aren't sitting there watching you. They're still getting back to their seats and stuff.
People are still coming back from the bathroom and literally
Yes,
standing in line to get
yes,
popcorn.
yes.
Oh,
So that really screwed me over. And the message going back to the office was, he's not getting over.
oh no.
Yeah.
So not only did you not have an advocate, you had somebody who had Vince's ear actively trying to bury you.
Yes.
What was the ultimate outcome of this? Did you ever have a talk with Strongbow?
I fucking blew up on him, man. I one night we were in the Meadowlands, and if I could have gotten on before intermission, I could have caught a flight home. You know?
Yeah.
And we weren't getting home much. So I went to him at the beginning of the night, got there early, and asked to be put on before intermission. You know, I'm wrestling Joe Blow, you know, an enhancement match. And he said, well, let me see what I can do. Well, I walked out of the room. But as I walked out of the room, I forgot something. I turned around and walked back in just in time to hear him say, if that motherfucker thinks he's getting on early, he's got another thing fucking coming. I don't forget shit.
Ooh.
After intermission.
Oh.
And I heard that shit. So I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Why do you have it out for me? And he goes, oh, you don't remember, do you? Don't remember what? When you were booking in Atlanta, I called, tried to come in. And then he did the fat Indian bullshit. Fat Italian trying to play an Indian.
Mm-hmm.
And said, that wasn't me, man. And I asked him what year it was. And I told him, that's Robert Fuller, not Jake Roberts. You motherfucker.
What did he say?
Oh, fuck. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, for the last fucking 6 months, you've been burying my fucking ass.
Holy shit.
So I went to Vince with it.
Did you? Okay, how did that go?
Told him what the fuck was going on. And Vince, well, that explains a lot. As soon as he said that, I'm like, yeah, I bet it does, doesn't it, man?
So when Vince said that, that was how you knew that you'd been getting buried?
Right.
Oh my God. Did you ever like forgive Chief after all that?
Fuck no.
It would be hard to, right?
Fuck yeah, man. He's messing with my livelihood and my life.
Again, you finally made it to the biggest stage in all professional wrestling, and you've got somebody actively behind the scenes trying to fuck you over. That is crazy.
Yeah, man. It was tough, brother.
I can't believe that's a hell of a story, man. So ultimately though, after it all shook out, did you feel like you were getting booked better afterwards?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Due to Chief or due to the conversation with Vince, do you think?
But a little bit of both.
Okay. You confronted Chief and that turned his mind around, and then going to Vince probably put the cherry on top.
Yep.
Wow. Man, that is I felt like I was starting to know a lot of the Jake Roberts stories. That is a brand spanking new one. Holy shit. That's crazy.
Knock that fat fuck out, man.
Man, you would have been well within your rights to punch his fucking lights out, trying to keep you from getting home.
No shit.
What a dick. I have to imagine though, that your next opponent coming out of this thing with Steamboat might have something to do with him because I love George the Animal Steele, but he was certainly not known for his work.
Yeah,
Do you think he had something to do with you getting in the ring with Steele after this?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
I would not be either based on what you're saying there. And
Real
but
treat to get booked with George.
you know, he is in his defense, he is a legend by this stage in his career. He's got a great legacy, already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But he's no spring chicken. What can you tell us about getting in there with Big George?
Oh man, we used to do some crazy shit out there, man.
Yeah.
You know, he would go over and get the bag and say, "Mine, mine." He would grab it with his teeth and carry it to the other side of the ring.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was my idea.
It's a great idea.
And so then I would knock the shit out of it and grab it and drag it back to my side. So we'd do that 2 or 3 times. All that's doing is eating time up off the clock.
Yep.
So finally, I'd go off on him, get a little heat on him, and then the comeback would be him slamming me 6 times.
That's a lot.
That was a rib.
You were ribbing George?
Yes, because he would get so fucking blown up slamming me. Because each time he went to pick me up, I'd get a little heavier, a little heavier. Finally, by that 6'1", brother, he's having to lift my fucking ass.
Oh my god.
And he'd be huffing and puffing.
Now, when you get back up and he's winded and you're all full of energy, how does that go?
Now I whip his ass.
And he just can't do anything.
He can't do shit.
Dude, what an amazing rib. Did George ever get pissed about it?
Oh, he finally figured it out.
So you were doing this night after night and it took him a bit.
Yeah.
That is too funny.
Yeah, it took him a few weeks.
Now, George, of course, he's gonna go. He'll wrestle a little bit longer, and then he's gonna go on to become a agent with the company.
Yeah.
Outside the ring, how was your relationship with Big George?
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
I've heard that he was like a real gentleman and kind of went out of his way to help a lot of the guys.
Yeah, he was good, man. He was good to people.
The first match with Steele is going to take place at the historic Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, and it's actually going to happen, Jake, on the day that I was born, October 3rd, 1986. So that explains why you weren't there for my birth.
That explains a whole lot.
It's going to be in front of 16,000 fans. Hogan's going to wrestle Orndorff on the same card. And Jake, the thing that we always hear is that after you come to the WWF, everybody begins to clamor for that Hogan card, having a spot on the Hogan card, because that means you're going to have a bigger house and you're going to get paid more. Was that something that you had to figure out kind of on your own, or did somebody smarten you up on that when you came in?
Well, I figured that out real quick.
What was your introduction to that notion?
Well, I just looked at this check.
So you just compare the two checks and it's probably night and day.
Yep. And you know what was crazy?
What's that?
The same number of people would be at the fucking building and you would get less money.
Really?
Yes. You'd go to Rosemont and sell it out, but your check wouldn't be near what it was if you was on Hogan's card.
That sounds to me like the management had figured out that was the talk among the boys. And so they're like, oh, well, now we've got a license to pay them less on the other shows.
Absolutely.
Holy shit. So we're getting some revelations here on the Snake Pit this week. With the kind of momentum that you had gained as a heel at this point, did you feel like it was inevitable that you're going to have a rivalry with Hulk? Was it like in the cards for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew I was going to get to Hulk.
We'll get there in a minute. Um, Chicago, the city, it's the Crockett's considered Chicago to be the best city for JCP. 1986 here this year. It's going to be their best year in wrestling, according to them, as far as the amount of money that they made. And of course, WWF always does well there. Jake, Chicago, as compared to other major cities or outlets like New York or Philadelphia, what do you think made wrestling so successful in that city?
It was just hot, man.
Mm.
It was just hot. And the building was great. That Rosemont Horizon was fabulous.
Wood ceilings,
Yeah.
acoustics. Yeah, what a hell of a place.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends at Chubbies. Man, spring is almost here. You can feel it starting to get a little bit warmer outside. So, fellas, it's time to shake off those heavy layers and bust out those beautiful thighs. Whether you're on spring break, headed to a backyard barbecue, playing around at golf, delivering a podcast ad read like I am, Chubbies has the style for any spring occasion. With a variety of bright, colorful polos and high-quality thigh-exposing shorts, Chubbies has the styles to fit whatever spring vibe you're going for. If you're looking to take that well-deserved spring vacation, Chubbies has the ultimate training shorts for you. If you're looking for more casual, comfortable fit for an outdoor brunch or a walk in the park, Chubbies original shorts give you that classic feel with the modern look. And get this, they've even got everywhere shorts, designed for performance and casual vibes at the same time. Maybe miracles are possible. Let's face it, one way or the other, whatever your preference is, you deserve a wardrobe upgrade for your springtime. So let us sweeten the deal for a limited time. Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code. Just use code JAKE at chubbiesshorts.com. You know, I mentioned it there. I really like the original stretch shorts. I've actually got a few different styles of those. I wound up picking up the Dunes, which is a really comfortable original stretch short. It's available in a bunch of different colors and just really fits me well. Like, looks good on me, makes me feel confident whenever I'm walking around in it. The other kind I got are the camouflagers. Again, really cool looking styles and the perfect fit and length. What else is nice about them is depending on how much thigh you're looking to show, Chubbies makes them in 4 inches, 5.5 inches, and 7-inch inseams. These shorts have the stretchiest fabric for ultimate movability and flexibility, and they maintain a perfectly tailored fit. They've got an elastic waistband with a button fly, so enjoy that classic men's khaki style with the added comfort of elastic. And hey, look, if you're looking for a top to pair with it, you got to check out the Performance Polos. With a soft, stretchy, breathable fabric, these polos are built to kick back, turn up, chill out, party down, and enjoy some relaxation. By the way, they've also got you covered when it comes to swimwear. Chubby's classic line swim collection are at the absolute top of men's swimwear game. Whether you're squeezing out as many beach days as possible before winter or swimming laps at the gyms, these ultra vibrant trunks, built with a quick drying 4-way stretch fabric, are the best damn swim trunks humankind has ever created. That's not hyperbole, I'm saying it. These are the best swim trunks that I have personally ever worn. So look, Chubbies has got you covered no matter what you're trying to do. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get dressed for work, if you're trying to get dressed for a workout, or if you're looking for a little weekend getaway, they have got you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our viewers 20% off your order with that code JAKE at chubbieshorts.com. Again, it's code JAKE at chubbieshorts.com. Do us a favor, support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. Well, moving on from George, you found yourself nose to nose with a man that you are very familiar with. He's your old pal, Sylvester Ritter, Junkyard Dog. As we've discussed here on the show, you had a relationship with him dating back to Calgary and then, of course, Mid-South. And here you're reunited, October 1986, and you're going to work a series of house show matches as part of a larger loop the company ran. Jake, as far as you were concerned, was this the same old JYD that you had gotten to know? It's pretty well documented that by this time in his career, he had kind of gained some weight and succumbed to his addictions in many ways.
Yeah, his addiction whooped his ass, man. It whipped his ass. And he was in full-blown addiction mode, man. You couldn't get him to do shit in the ring because he'd blow up in about 10 seconds. He just wanted to walk and talk. And it was horrible, man. It was sad. It was just plain fucking sad, you know, that he had gotten like that. And I tried to talk to him one time, and he pretty much told me to fuck off.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What a shame, man, because, Dog, he was just so naturally talented and got over so well in Louisiana, and now here he is, he's again on the biggest stage in wrestling, the huge opportunity, and he can't really take advantage of it to its fullest.
No, he couldn't do shit, man. But he still got over.
Oh, yeah.
But he still got over. You know, and but just to watch him languish in that slush pit called addiction, man, was just horrible.
Now, obviously, he was making great money in Mid-South, but now, it's with merchandise and everything else that was going on in New York, I assume that he was making a lot more.
A lot of fucking money.
And again, to Jake's point, he was over. He was on that rock and wrestling cartoon show and like super huge character at the time. Jake, do you think that the success and the money he was making lent to his addiction issues?
No, man, it just made it to where he could afford it. That's all.
It just made it easier for him to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
Man, a Junkyard Dog is a big what if in my mind when it comes to his run in the WWF and what it
Yeah.
could have been if he had started it, whatever, 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
During this 3-match sequence in mid-October, Erie, Pennsylvania is going to be one of the stops. And it's a really small market, but you and Dog are going to be the main event on the card. And man, being the main event, even on a house show, even in a place like Erie, Pennsylvania, it's the WWF. It's got to feel like a real vote of confidence, right?
Sure, absolutely. It tells you that they believe in you.
Now, we've heard over the years that when it came to house shows as opposed to TV tapings, it's kind of like a moment when the talents get to let their hair down, have some fun, and do some shit that maybe they wouldn't usually do in matches. Were you doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, you'd experiment more.
Okay.
You'd try new stuff. Not that you're going out there and being silly. I didn't ever do that.
Mm.
Some guys did.
Yep.
They get fucking lazy too, But I didn't. But it gave you an opportunity to try new stuff to see if it would work.
When you say new stuff, do you mean like new moves, new ways to behave with the audience, or what
Yeah,
kind of things?
yeah, exactly.
A little bit of everything.
Stuff with the audience, stuff in the ring with your opponent, trying new stuff. Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned before that when you first come to the WWF, it was very the locker room was not a welcoming atmosphere.
No.
And because again, it's everybody knows who Jake the Snake is from your time in Mid-South and elsewhere. And now it's, oh, great. Now this guy's competition here.
Yeah.
By this point, again, you're making some of these small towns. You're well positioned in the small towns, but are you traveling with JYD or like because of kayfabe, you're not allowed to?
I just wouldn't do it.
Oh, okay. Who was like your buddy during this period?
I don't think I had anybody.
Really?
I traveled by myself.
Do you like that, or were you kind of miserable?
No, it doesn't bother me to be by myself. That way I like the company.
The only farts you have to deal with are your own.
That's it.
Following the initial set of matches with JYD, you wrestled a match in the Maple Leaf Gardens against our old pal HTM, the Honky Tonk Man, in front of 10,000 fans. A match is going to be part of a house show loop, and you lost the match with Honky when you went for Damien during the match, but Honky had it hidden under the ring, and subsequently you could not find the snake, so you were counted out. That sounds like it came straight from you.
No, it didn't. I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't like that idea?
No, it made me look stupid.
Oh, because you're out there fumbling around.
Yeah.
So it was Honky's idea, probably.
Probably Honky's.
Motherfucker. It is a fairly creative finish, so I gotta give that up to Wayne. But I didn't even think about the fact that it would make you look dumb.
It makes you look stupid, man.
Looking stupid, you've got to look kind of like a dangerous adversary as a heel, right? You can't have egg on your face like that.
No, you can't do that.
Now, a lot of folks forget this, but Honky started out in the WWF as a fan favorite babyface, and he was even endorsed by Hogan when he first arrived in the company shortly before this. So, Jake, if things had gone differently, do you think a character like an Elvis impersonator could have made for a viable long-term babyface, or is he just a natural born heel?
Natural born heel.
I think so. And not just the character, but the man. I think Wayne Ferris is a good heel.
Yeah, he's a great heel.
Well, next up here with fellow heel Randy Savage, and Macho's really on the come up. And in 1987, he's really going to solidify his place as top guy when he has this match with Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. Jake, we hear all the time that heel versus heel just doesn't work. But you and Savage are both fantastic, experienced workers by this point in your careers. How do you get the most out of a match like this?
It's easy, man. Just go out and do your shit.
That's it.
Don't worry about what the fucking people are doing.
Just do your own thing.
Do your own thing. They'll pick one guy they want to win.
Interesting.
You don't need to go out and change anything that you're doing. That's when a mistake is made. I didn't go out there and try to be a baby face. We both went out there and tried to be heels.
You know, that's a really fascinating take on it, Jake. And I like thinking about it logically, it sounds correct. I guess I've heard guys over the years say like, well, there's no stakes in a heel versus heel match because the crowd just wants both guys to die. But not true.
No, they'll pick one. They'll pick one guy they want to win.
Well, by all accounts, it was you during these matches. It sounded like the crowd was starting to really support you.
Yeah.
You have previously discussed working with Savage following SummerSlam 91. But you know, here he is. It's right before his big rise, which is pretty remarkable. Before we return to Savage here, which we'll be talking about him here in the near future, I do want to mention also that you're going to start working with Tito Santana a little bit during this period. And again, great performer and Intercontinental Champion, Hall of Famer. You and Tito wrestled a lot of matches to a draw, often going 20 minutes with no decision. And like Steele, one of these matches was at the Rosemont. As one of the premier baby faces in the company at the time, I imagine you were excited for the opportunity to work with Tito, right?
I was excited.
What can you tell the audience about Tito and his work? I've heard a lot of guys put him over the years.
He was a great mechanic, man. He could do anything in the world out there. Really could.
Now, of course, he's of Hispanic heritage, and it does make me wonder, do you think that they were kind of trying to do the Pedro Morales thing with him for like all those audiences in the Northeast?
Absolutely.
A good idea, and I actually spoke to Tito himself not long ago, and he had said, however, that his run in the WWF, yep, he had a lot of fun, and yes, he became pretty famous, but he was saying that the amount of money that he was making kind of made it prohibitive for him to do anything except for to work, because he was paying for hotels and food and travel. Were you feeling that way, or did you feel like you were making the best money of your life at this point?
I was still making the best money of my life.
Do you think you're just more frugal?
No, I spend more than he does.
Were you ever taking steps to be frugal, or were you just saying, fuck it?
Fuck no.
You're buying nice stuff while you're out and about.
I live good. I eat good.
You got to treat yourself or you lose your damn mind out there on the road, right?
Great.
Jake, in late 1986, the WWF is going to give you your own interview segment modeled after Piper's Pit. And of course, it's the namesake of our show here. It's the Snake Pit. Jake, what can you tell us about the idea and how it was first presented to you?
Well, there was a guy there named Nelson. He was one of the big wigs.
I know who you're talking about, and I can't come up with his name either.
Nelson. Yeah, anyway, I went to a show. I can't remember where it was at. And I went out and I looked around the arena and I see the Snake Pit. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And Nelson came to me and he goes, what do you think? I'm like, man, somebody's got something going on. He goes, well, somebody's you. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, that's yours. And that's how I found out about it.
You get to the building and find out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to Vince. I'm like, what do you want done? He goes, we're going to give you 3 guys. Just go out and do what you want to do. That's all he told me. I didn't know how far I could go. I didn't know what the limits were. I didn't know what the don't do that shit is. And I really didn't handle it right. What I should have done, instead of just trying to play it soft and middle of the road, is I should have went for it.
Mm.
And then have Vince come back to me later and say, don't ever do that again. It would have been better that way.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission type kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
Now, when you say really go for it, what do you think that you could have done a little bit over the top more than you did?
Oh, I would have fucking been nailing the guys. I'd have been putting the snake on them. I'd have been doing all sorts of shit. I mean, I could have taken the snake and went after a guy and had the guy punch me and let me stagger back a little bit, then let him take off and run.
Oh, yeah, see, that's great shit.
That's easy shit. He stays over because he hit me.
Mm-hmm.
I stay over because I still got the fucking snake, and here I am finishing the show.
To me, that doesn't feel like anything Vince would like turn his nose up at either. It sounds like something he'd love.
Oh, I should have pushed it. That's what I'm saying.
Jake, you had mentioned it. You got 3 guys on your first episode of the Snake Pit. We're talking about nearly 40 years ago. Do you have any memory of who your first guests were?
I do not.
The first man that walked out on the Snake Pit before the other 2 came out is your old pal who used to let you try the Cosmic Cookie. It was King Curtis. He came out with Kamala and kimchi.
There we go.
There it is, man. Jake, doing the Snake Pit, did it involve any extra work or preparation for you moving forward?
Sure it did. You had to think a lot, man. You had to think of what you were going to say, what you were going to do. You know?
What helped you to do your best thinking while you're on the road?
Weed.
I had a feeling the answer is going to be either weed or music.
Yeah, weed and music.
Pink Floyd and weed, and we're off to the races.
Yeah. Did you hear Pink Floyd sold all their music?
They did to who?
Sony.
No, I bet they made like $1 billion.
400 million.
Oh, good for them, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Are you kidding me?
I wonder if those guys ever thought back in like the 60s or 50s, whenever they began writing music, like one day I'm going to be old and I'm going to get, generational money for making this.
Yeah, man. He just said it. They just set their families up for generations.
Like their grandkids' kids are going to be benefiting.
Yeah. Yeah, they all will.
So, man, good for them.
Yeah, great.
We're approaching the end of the year here, and you're going to have one of the most infamous moments of your career and something that's become a wrestling urban legend. Of course, I'm talking about the DDT on Hogan in the Snake Pit. And folks, Jake and I explored that way back on episode 2 of the Snake Pit. So if you really want to get into kind of the nitty gritty on that, go back into the archives. You'll get the full story there. However, there are a few things that I think we may have left on the table. Jake, you would face Savage at Saturday night's main event in Los Angeles. And though the end of the match is going to end in a draw, you are very notably getting a massive babyface reaction here in one of the biggest markets for the WWF.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yep. And so, again, just to remind listeners, you had just DDT'd Steamboat on the floor a few months prior, like one of the nastiest heels in all of wrestling, but the crowd was loving you.
Yep.
And of course, after that, here's the DDT on Hogan in the Snake Pit. It's never going to air, but, the word gets around among fans.
Yeah.
I lay all that out to ask, did you feel like the wheels were always in motion for you to become a babyface, or was the initial plan to continue your run with Hulk into 87?
I think I was brought in to be a heel.
Yeah.
But they didn't expect the babyface turn. I did.
You knew it would come.
I knew it would come.
What was the tip off for you?
Anytime you have a heel that is so strong as I was, the fans are going to turn a babyface. Because they don't want to be left out in the cold cheering for somebody they know that's going to get beat.
Mm.
And as strong as I was, having the DDT, having the snake, there's just too much there, and having the great interviews.
Yep.
There's too much there for the fans to say, fuck, we got to cheer for this motherfucker because we're tired of fucking looking like shit.
And now your own interview segment on top of it with a cool looking set.
Yeah.
Yep. And you're coming out there and you're quoting like the Rolling Stones and Pink Floyd. It's like you were just fucking cool.
Yeah. Badass.
Now, I know that you prefer being a heel. Did you ever have a moment where you thought to yourself, maybe I need, because we always hear there's a difference. There's a badass heel and there's a chicken shit heel.
Yeah.
Chicken shit heels tend to not get over with crowds as much as baby
Yeah.
faces. Did you ever have a moment where you thought like, maybe I should act more like a chicken shit?
No.
Why is that?
Not in me.
Okay.
Not in me.
Well, I can probably speak on behalf of audience and say we're all glad that you didn't because we got this cool baby face run. And look, I know that it was disappointing not to get the run with Hulk, but objectively, would you say that the baby face turn was the exact correct thing for your career at this time?
Unfortunately, it was. Unfortunately, it was, but it cost me a lot of money. A lot.
Now, as a baby face, all of a sudden your face is on magazines. You're getting a lot of action figures and stuff like that. Did you feel like you made up for it with money from that sort of thing, or not even close?
No, not even close.
This will be our last question for the week, and it's something I'm really curious about when it comes to you, because over the course of your career, Jake, you've pretty consistently gotten turned by fans. The fans always, whatever territory you're in, they begin cheering for you by a few months into your heel run.
Yep.
Can you kind of sum up the psychology behind why fans were drawn to you during this period? When kayfabe, you had mentioned that fans like a badass heel, but again, kayfabe is still pretty strong, and so like you're doing some pretty evil shit in front of these fans, but they still like you. What do you think it is about you?
I'm just too fucking cool, man. It's got to be the mustache.
I'm thinking that's it. It's a little peek behind the curtain for our listeners. I do work for Diamond Dallas Page. I help him out with social media. And the one night we were talking about Jake on the phone, and he was saying like there was something about Jake that fans really connected with. And I kind of interjected in that moment. I was like, I think that he connected with fans the same way that Scott Hall did. Some guys just walk into the fucking room and you're like, that guy's just really cool. Like, I don't know what it is about that guy. He's just cool. And I think that might have been it, right?
Yeah. Scott Hall was the same way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Scott Hall couldn't be a heel. In the NWO, he was getting cheered because he was just he was doing cool shit.
Yep.
Well, Jake, this was a cool episode. I'm glad we could wrap up 1986, and it's going to be fun talking about 1987 here coming up. But, man, as always, I appreciate your time here this week, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.